Welcome to the THI Careers and Employability Fair. As you all know, or many of you know, the mission of THI is simple. We unite Hellenes and Philhellenes from around the world into a collective force of champions for Greece, its people, its principles, and its promise. And today you see firsthand the impact of THI on the people of Greece. It's an event dedicated to workforce development, job creation, reskilling, and skills matching in Greece. Built around THI-supported programs Regeneration, Odyssea, and SEV, Skills for Jobs, this fair brings together young professionals, program alumni, employers, HR leaders, educators, policymakers, and THI's leadership. The fair is designed as a live talent marketplace with a clear dual mandate. For young people, it's access to real opportunities, jobs, interviews, career clarity, and a chance to discuss and build in-demand skills on the spot. For employers, it's direct access to jobs-ready, future-skilled candidates, pre-screened and motivated. Thank you, first of all, to ACG and President Wingenbach for hosting us today. Thank you to THI's remarkable team who made today possible, led by THI's Greece Country Director, Michael Printzos, and assisted very ably by THI Deputy Program Director Vlasis Akdakas. Thank you to our remarkable panelists today, to our keynote speaker, Greece's Minister of Labor and Social Security, Nikki Kerameos, and friend. And thank you to all of you in this room for your generous support of THI and its mission. So to begin, let me welcome for opening remarks the man who started it all, THI co-founder and president, George Stamus.
Mike was a little generous with that introduction. We say in the United States often it takes a village, and certainly the creation of the Hellenic Initiative took and it takes a lot of people, and that includes many in this room, fellow board member Nick Alexis, Nikos Kometis, so many that I could point to that came together. Look, a room like this didn't exist 15 years ago. Greece was certainly at the depth of its crisis, and it almost felt like Greece was hanging on. But boy, does this room demonstrate what a change that has occurred. When we founded the Hellenic Initiative 15 years ago, we felt that the strength of this country, as it has been for centuries, was its people. And so when I look in this room today, and Mr. President, and so many of you, Madam Secretary, you can tell the strength of Greece has always been through a room like this. Yesterday, we took a tour of the Binaiki Museum. And what struck me most of all was the development in Greece over centuries that, in fact, man is the measure of all things. That's probably Greece's greatest gift to civilization. Its people and the strength of its people. And so to see you all today like this, yearning and pushing and striving and failing and winning, all of those elements of human spirit really is what Greece is about, what Greece gave to mankind, and it's why we at the Hellenic Initiative exist. So watching you all today makes me think about my own background, and I think it strikes all of us, young and old, of what we went through, what we strive for, what defines what wins and what loses, family values, and all the rest. And so a room like this couldn't exist 15 years ago, but to see the power of this room today just inspires us, inspires our board, inspires me, frankly, to continue the effort on behalf of all of you in Greece. So there'll be a lot of speeches today, a lot of action, a lot of networking. I love to network. If I can be helpful to any of you personally, with any of my own personal experiences, please call on me. But again, thank you, and let me welcome to the stage Madam Secretary. You can do it? Okay, you're doing the introduction? Okay, Mike's doing the intros. And thank you, Mike, for all you've done here.
So it's my honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker today, dear friend. And we're looking forward to, while the room is full, we have 290 registrants for today, which is pretty remarkable considering the university has no students. It's the hottest day of the summer. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, so I expect a good turnout as it rolls in. So since 2015, Nikki Kerameos has been an elected member of the Hellenic Parliament with the New Democracy Party. She's played an important role in shaping the party's policy proposals, particularly relating to a comprehensive education program and curriculum, voting rights for Greeks living abroad, improvements of the organ and tissue donation system, and constitutional amendment proposals. From 2019 to 2023, she served as Greece's Minister of Education and Religious Affairs. She worked systematically to improve the quality of education at all levels, particularly under the challenging circumstances of COVID pandemic. From 2023 to 24, she served as Greece's Minister of the Interior. During her term, for the first time in the history of Greece, postal voting was introduced and a new framework for the selection and evaluation of public body executives was established. Then 2 years ago, she assumed the position of Greece's Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Among her many accomplishments in this position, perhaps the most remarkable is an effort to reverse the brain drain titled Rebrain Greece. The program connects Greek companies seeking specialized talent with professionals abroad who are considering repatriation. Targeting cities with big Greek diaspora population, she's executed events in Amsterdam, Dusseldorf, Stuttgart, New York, and most recently in London in May, where 3,107 Greek citizens were interviewed by representatives of 35 major business groups seeking executives. In total, 6,500, let me say that again, 6,500 Greeks who've left Greece have had a face-to-face meetings with over 120 of the largest companies in Greece. I had the remarkable opportunity to be part of the New York Rebrain Greece, and in all my years of going to events, it was remarkable not only in the thousands of people that showed up, but over the years, there's been many well-intentioned Greek ministers who've made some excellent speeches. But with Nikki, it was an excellent speech followed immediately by results, which is truly a tribute to you and all that you do. Thank you for all that you're doing for that. Now, the result, while over 730,000 people left Greece over the past 10 to 15 years, 64%, or 473,000, have since returned. Please welcome Greece's Minister of Labor and Social Security and dear friend, Nikki Kerameos.
So, Mike, thanks so much for that most generous introduction. I'm truly delighted to be here. I chose to speak closer to you. I wanted to be closer because I feel close to this entire endeavor, I would say. So I'm truly delighted for two main reasons. The first is because I admire the work of the THI, dear George. I truly admire the work that THI has done over the years. I think it's a tremendous effort. And if I were to distinguish two aspects of it, which I think are the most important, is the extent to which THI contributes to job growth in Greece and the extent to which THI contributes to bringing back to Greece all of those great minds that left the country, mostly during the financial crisis. And I've had the privilege of working with THI. And I hope to be working even closer in the years to come because what these people are doing is truly remarkable. So congratulations, dear George, Mike, Michael, the entire THI team for this remarkable work throughout the years. And I'm also delighted because we are having this event here in a remarkable institution. And I say this not lightly. I have worked with this institution, dear President, throughout the years when I used to serve as Minister of Education. And I think it's a pure example of what Greece can achieve in this field. And I think there's a lot to come in the years to come. And I'm sure the Greek state would be next to you for this most important effort. So I was asked to give you, I would say, a brief overview of what's happening in the Greek labor market throughout the years. Everything's not perfect. Obviously, there are many difficulties, there are many, I would say, challenges in the Greek environment right now. But that being said, in the past 7 years, the Greek labor market has been drastically transformed. When we took office back in 2019, the unemployment rate was at 18%. Today, the unemployment rate is 10 percentage points down. It's at 8.1%. These are the latest figures which were published 1 month ago. But that's just a figure. And behind the figure are people. So when we refer to a decrease of the unemployment rate by 10 percentage points, dear George, that means, in essence, that 563,000 Greeks who did not work back in 2019 are now working. They are in the active, I would say, labor force. But that's only a quantitative figure, and that's not enough. We want to look at the qualitative figures as well. So when one refers to qualitative figures, one has to look at first, if we're talking about full-time employment or part-time employment. It used to be the case that Greece had a full-time employment rate of 69%. That percentage is up 10 percentage points as well. Close to 8 out of 10 Greeks who are now working are working in full-time positions. The second qualitative figure, which is really important, is wages. Wages have been increased throughout the years. In the past 7 years, the minimum wage has been increased by 41.5%. It used to be 650 euros. Now it's 920 euros, and we're aiming at exceeding 950 euros, which was the Prime Minister's commitment for 2027. Medium wage, we had promised to deliver in 2027 a medium wage that exceeds 1,500. We achieved that target a year earlier. Right now, the medium wage in Greece is 1,538 euros, and it's increasing steadily. So those are the actual figures. How has this transformation taken place? How has Greece turned around the entire, I would say, job market throughout these past 7 years? This has not happened on its own. It has not happened by accident. It has happened as a result of a very concrete strategic plan based on 9 axes. So we have followed this plan for the past few years, and we intend to continue to follow this plan in order to achieve an even greater growth rate, an even lower unemployment rate. So which are those 9 axes? I'll try to remember them. Number 1, the first thing we do is we take the unemployment figure. So it was 18%, and we break that into pieces. And we try to see who is actually not working in Greece. So there are certain population groups which indeed have a higher unemployment rate. Women and youth, mostly. So what we do is I would say, put in place tailored programs in order to enhance the, I would say, job opportunities specifically for those for those groups. So we will, for instance, craft a tailor-made subsidized employment program for women in order to incite them to re-enter the job market after having given birth. Or we will put in place an employment program aimed at youngsters from 18 to 29 years old who have a business plan in mind. We want to help them for the kickoff. We want to help them at the beginning of this venture, and then obviously they're free to, continue their own path and to stand on their own feet. So the first thing we do is we break that unemployment figure into components to see who exactly is not working. Why? Because that's where the potential is for further job growth. That's number 1. Number 2, we focus tremendously on reskilling and upskilling. Over 730,000 Greeks have gone throughout the past few years through reskilling and upskilling programs, particularly focused on digital skills and green skills. And I emphasize the digital part. Why? Because AI is coming, and it's coming in a really strong pace. So it's tremendously important for AI to truly lead to productivity growth. it's really important to, I would say, aim at reskilling and upskilling large population groups in order to assist in this transition period with the, I would say, a further enhancement of AI. So that's number 2, focusing on reskilling and upskilling. Number 3, we focus tremendously on what we call VET, vocational education and training. So we detect the actual needs of the labor market, which professions are actually missing, and we craft 2-year programs within our apprenticeship schools at the Ministry of Labor, specifically targeted at those professions that are missing. For example, which is the number 1 profession? I'm talking to those living in Athens, that you strive for. Which is the one technician you're always looking for? Plumber, right. So plumbing is the number 1 profession we're actually offering. It's not a joke. Truly, we're sold out. We're sold out for plumbers, electricians, chefs, pastry chefs. Why? Because there's a tremendous need in the market. So what we do is we first detect those needs, and then we offer 2-year programs. And those 2-year programs have the following 2 components. In the morning, you do practical training within a company. And in the afternoon, you follow theoretical courses at the school. 2-year program, absorption rate afterwards of the job market, 100%. So that's number 3. And we do that, in partnership with companies. So company will come and say, you know what, I'm missing X specialty. We will go and set up a subsidiary, I would say, of our apprenticeship school within the company. We will have those participating in the program. They will do practical training within the company in the morning, and in the afternoon, they will follow classes. Within 2 years, they will earn the specialty, and they will be absorbed by the company. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win for the state, it's a win-win for the company, it's a win-win for the people of Greece. So that's number 3. Number 4, subsidized employment programs. Targeted depending on the group we are interested in. I mentioned women earlier. It is true that Greece has traditionally a higher unemployment rate for women. That unemployment rate has been decreased by roughly 15%, but there's still room. 50% means that we have right now 320,000 more women in the job market than we did back in 2019, but it's not enough. We still have room to improve. So that's why what we're doing is we have crafted tailor-made subsidized employment programs. So if a company right now, we have a program running right now for 10,000 women. If a company hires a woman who is unemployed, the company will have a subsidy of 70% of the salary for a year or up to 15 months. If that woman who is unemployed is also a mother of a child up to 15 years old, then the subsidy goes up to 80%. Why? Because we want to get the message across. We want to support those women who make the decision. It's their decision. But if they make the decision to try to re-enter the market, we want to be next to them. And we want to help them in doing that. So that's number 4. Number 5. Greece has gone, dear George, from hearing youngsters say, I cannot find a job, to hearing companies say, I cannot find people anymore. Why? Because unemployment has truly gone down. So now a new challenge is to try to bring the two together. To try to bring companies who are looking for people, and to try to bring citizens who are actually looking for a job or looking to change jobs. So the Ministry of Labor holds career events throughout Greece. We've done over 50 in the past few years in 20 different cities of Greece. Free for all. The company doesn't pay, the citizens don't pay. So these are huge career days, basically, where thousands of interviews take place. And because this indeed was a successful way for people to actually find a job, we decided to expand this effort, as Mike mentioned, to Greeks living abroad. So we started this effort of Rebrain Greece roughly 2 years ago. What we do is we travel together with some of the largest companies in cities where many Greeks live. So we've been 3 times to London, we've been to Amsterdam, we've been to Düsseldorf, to Stuttgart, and we were also recently, indeed, in New York. And there we make the best use of our channels through our embassies and our consulates in order to reach out to the Greeks living in those cities. And so these are one-day events. And in one-day event, a company can do up to 800 interviews. How do they do that? They bring many people with them. They bring like 20 people of their top executives together to interview these people. And I can tell you that at these events, Mike was there, at these, not only Mike, the president was there, Claudia was there as well. At these events, these are, I would say, events that have no political connotation whatsoever. It's the Greek national team trying to bring back all those bright minds that left the country mostly during the financial crisis. And it's all ages. I've seen candidates from 20 years old to 83. I'll tell you the 83 story on the side, not publicly. Point number 5, bringing the two together, both in Greece, but also abroad. And indeed, the figures are the ones that Mike mentioned. 473,000 Greeks have returned to the country. That's a 64% reverse of brain drain. Would I like it to be 80? Yes, I would like it to be 80, and I'm going to work for it to further increase even above, I would say, 64%. I think number 7. Unemployment benefit. Greece and the Ministry of Labor recently did a radical transformation of the unemployment benefit. It used to be the case that the unemployment benefit was, I would say, flat throughout the unemployment period of a certain individual. So let's say 530 euros. What has changed recently is the following. We have introduced a reform pursuant to which, for the first 2 months of your unemployment, the unemployment benefit will be higher. It will reach 700, 800. But afterwards, it will progressively decrease. Why? Because we want to get the message across that we want you to find a job. We will offer you 3 job postings within your portfolio, within the region. You refuse the first one. You refuse the second. If you refuse the third, you're out. Why? Because the Greek taxpayer cannot be paying for somebody who simply does not want to find a job. This is a radical transformation of the unemployment benefit. It's not one that goes down easily without political resistance, but it's one that is necessary if you want a society of employed people rather than a society of unemployed people. And we as a government want a society of employed people. Number 8. With the unemployment having gone down and right now reaching the lowest figure of the past 17 years, the new challenge is that if we want Greece to manage to retain the growth rate we have, which is 2.1%, which is roughly 3 times more than the average EU growth rate, and if we want to expand that growth rate, we need more people. We will exhaust the pool of candidates we have in Greece, but there are certain sectors of the economy where Greeks will not easily go and work there. For instance, agriculture, construction, certain aspects of the tourism industry. So we need to bring people in from other countries as well. And that's an effort that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Migration, and the Ministry of Labor, we're all working together in order to expedite the process and make it easier for legal migration and for third country nationals to come to Greece and assist in certain areas where indeed we are in tremendous need of people. Last point. All of the above, all of what I've described, is based on a data policy in every aspect of it. What do I mean? The Ministry of Labor has a mechanism called the Mechanism for Diagnosis of the Needs of the Labor Market. So what it does, it systematically, every day, it diagnoses and it detects the actual needs of the labor market, both real-time, short-term, and long-term. So everything we do, in every single one of those 8 axes I described earlier, is based on concrete data. So we go and see where there's room for improvement. We go and see, for instance, that in Evros, we need the X specialty, that in Crete, we need a different specialty. And on the basis of that data, we craft policy. So it's not just an idea that comes to mind to some minister. No. It's on the basis everything we do in order to lead the job market to the lowest unemployment it's been in 17 years is based on data. So the entire effort is driven by data. none of what I've described, so this is how we've reached the lowest unemployment rate, but none of what I've described would have been possible without the contribution of the entire private sector, because those are the ones who are actually opening jobs and are offering improved wages every single day. And none of this would have been possible without other initiatives, which I would say jointly together with the state initiatives aim at the same target, which is to lead to further job creation. And I think the THI's efforts throughout the years could not have been more matching, I would say, with the efforts of the Greek government. Why? Because we want the exact same thing. We want further job creation. We want more Greeks to come back to our country. We want to attract them, to lure them back to Greece on the basis of incentives, but mostly because the country is changing and will continue to change. So if I'm here today standing before you and describing how the job market has actually changed, a large part of it is thanks to efforts like the effort of THI. So I'm here to say a big word of thank you for the tremendous work that THI has given. A round of applause for THI. For the tremendous and most professional work that THI has been doing throughout the years. And I'm sure you know this from the Prime Minister himself, but rest assured the Greek government will do everything in its power to support this fantastic work that THI is doing. Thank you so much.